Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Tunnel Podcast, episode 60 of the greatest podcast in the world. Delighted to say I've got another stunning guest. After Laura Hartley joined us midweek, we've got George Atkin tonight. George, how are we doing?
Not bad, thank you. Thank you for having me. Always love it, every time.
No, listen, thanks for coming on and filling a hole. It won't be the first time in your life, we'll say that. But
Hey, Mum and Dad are watching it. Come on, let's just relax. Come on.
well, are they actually? Oh, hi there.
Yeah,
Hi,
they are.
Mr. Atkin, I'm Mr.
Brothers
Atkin.
there as well. All right, everyone.
Obvious. Hope you are well. Loads to talk about. It's been another kind of busy week in the Championship. Obviously, promotion's been secured. Some stories about Daniel Farke, which I'm sure we'll come on to, but we've got to start with Sheffield Wednesday and kind of gather your thoughts on the mess that is, your owner, Mr. Chansiri.
Oh, honestly, I was worried about this moment. I knew it was coming. To be fair, I just think he shoots himself in the foot at every turn. Like, honestly, even the facts of things that's supposed to help the club and get, obviously, him a bit more kind of engaged with the fans, like the fans forums. He just says ridiculous statements, like asking us to get, finding buyers. And it's like, Sheffield Wednesday's a working class club that, the fans work hard for their money and they obviously, they pay to go to the games, and he's saying, yeah, go find me a buyer. I don't know any millionaires. I don't know I hope someone does, but if we don't, then we're never going to find a buyer. It just feels ridiculous, to be honest. And it just every turn, it seems to be getting worse and worse every season. I mean, it doesn't help. Obviously, you've got Leeds and Sheffield United doing excellently as well. You know what I mean? It does not help.
You listen to us, we spoke earlier on before we came on tonight. We kind of were talking about Simon Jordan's piece that seemed to have gathered a bit of momentum this morning on TalkSport, talking about, how big an asset Sheffield Wednesday is in terms of you're going to buy a club and wanting to try and get into the Premier League and hit that top ceiling. He said he'd had sort of delicate conversations with the Sheikh from Saudi, whether that comes to fruition or not, but that's the kind of the move that every football fan dreams of, right? Somebody just with buckets full or bottomless pockets can chuck loads of money at it and ultimately, get a deal over the line and get Chansiri kind of moved on. That's a decade now, and this season started off kind of brightly. There was, we got to, December time, and there was, tentative sort of ideas that we could be getting into the playoffs, and it kind of fell apart. All kind of falling into, the stuff with players not being paid and Mr. Chansiri obviously, wanting to sell the club 1 minute and not want to sell the club the next.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, yeah, again, how he shot himself in the foot. If we just had that bit of investment in January, anything could have happened. The few extra legs, obviously with Deshaun Bernard getting injured and obviously other factors and people maybe going a bit off the boil, that obviously getting some extra legs in would have helped. But also just the fact of, it's just crazy how literally he just seems to ruin everything within the club, which could be good. And as Simon Jordan said, we've got such a big potential, and it just feels like if you just even silly stuff we haven't had hot water on the cop since he's been here, silly little things where literally if you just made the right decisions and really tried to, because I wouldn't say we're a demanding fan base in that sense. Obviously we want to be successful. We're a big club. We want to keep up that tradition of being a big club and a successful club. But I think just getting the basics right would help, and just getting the training ground, the infrastructure sorted. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that he just doesn't seem to do. And it is a massive shame, a massive, massive shame, to be fair.
Where do you see this going? Because there's more planned protests at the weekend. I saw the Wednesdays Trust are kind of drumming up more interest online. They're really pushing that. I know they've obviously turned their back in the last couple of games as well. Where do you see this going? Does Mr. Chansiri seem like someone this will affect personally?
No. I think, to be honest, he'll just. I think if anything, he's a bit. I always get the feeling that he kind of just thinks, let's just annoy them even more. They don't like me anymore. Let's just keep annoying them. And I feel but this is the one positive from it, is the fact that I've never seen the fan base so brought together and so unified, in the sense that I was watching sorry for this, by the way. I was watching another podcast the Wednesday week, and they were.
Apologise, mate. Other podcasts are available
right now. But
you digest what you want to digest. That's fine by me, mate. No worries.
But yeah, just they were saying they got different parts of the fan base together. I think there's the women's I think it's a club that we have, a women's club. We've got female supporters come together and obviously discuss stuff like that, and then obviously the armed forces and other different groups. who I thought brought together, and obviously them kind of being cohesion together, really like, I love to see it. And it does make me think if we can keep that unity and push forward with that, we could see real change and get a good owner in who sees the potential of the club and how it would be good if we just unified together and how strong it could get. I think that's what's hopefully going to come from it. I hope.
You look at we'll go back through the season in a moment, but just in terms of the summer, and there's been Danny Knowles' name gets linked to every job now. He's been linked to even jobs abroad. I think his name was thrown in the hat for the Leipzig vacancy. Southampton, that doesn't seem to go away. We know there'll be a fee involved there, but if the manager does exit, worst case scenario, there's players going to be out of contract, loan players returning to their parent clubs. How difficult a summer could it be in terms of trying to then come back in? The teams that are coming up from League One, the likes of Wrexham and Birmingham, are well armed financially now.
Yeah, it's going to be. I've said this throughout the season. Is the championship this season is probably one of the weaker championships I've seen. I genuinely think Leeds are probably the main best side in the division. I think the rest are all pretty similar. Like obviously the bottom clubs are the very bottom, obviously, but like I'd say just above like 16th, 15th clubs are very similar. Like, and I feel like when obviously you're saying like Birmingham, Wrexham, they come up with that money, that's just going to make it harder. And I think the teams coming down are going to make it harder again. So if we're not willing to invest, we obviously with Chansiri probably not. We're going to struggle. And if we get relegated, I just hope to God by the time we get relegated, we've got a new owner in, because that's what we need more than anything. In a way, I'm kind of, the football results are irrelevant. We need to sort out the very like structure of the club more than anything. I think that obviously we want to see them do well, but we need that springboard to do that. And at the moment we don't have it. So it just feels a bit pointless.
Yeah, it's how can I put this? It's important not to try and drag the negativity maybe that this season's ended on into next season and have that kind of hanging over. But when you listen to, as you say, I've sampled some of these other podcasts as well at times, to do my homework. And they've been saying, that there is, genuine offers here on the table, but Mr. Chansiri seems to have, too many kind of stipulations, that can't really be, granted at that level of business, if that makes sense. So it's one that we'll watch over the summer, definitely, because I'm with you. I think Sheffield Wednesday is a massive sleeping giant now. Been a few games with you, no secret this season. And I think, as you say, loads of potential there, but the ground itself, you've mentioned the Cop in Northern Hot Water. I think the ground needs some TLC, certainly. And Chris Wilder spoke after the Steel City derby, didn't it, about being ahead, in terms of the academy and recruitment and stuff. And I think that's only going to be matched if a new owner does come in, certainly.
Yeah. That was horrible, by the way, when Wilder said all that, because a lot of it was true. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't coming from the right place, and I think he went a bit far with it. But yeah, no, it's true, and I think obviously him saying it, and everyone can see it. Like, it's so open to everyone that we are in a club need. We're a club in need of the proper structure and a rebuild, basically from the ground up. Like, which is mental for the size of the club. However, I think to be honest, the reason we've allowed it to get so far is the fact that before Chansiri, obviously we had Milan Mandaric, and he was brilliant with the fans. Like, honestly, he used to do little special deals where you go for a kid like for a £5 for a ticket, and I used to use that, like, it was great. And I actually kind of in a way enjoyed it more in them times. But I think when we finally got Chansiri and he started throwing a bit of money at us, I think we all got so excited about it and also thought, we can come back to the glory days. Sheffield United and Leeds are pretty rubbish at the time as well. Like, it was looking good, and then it just kind of obviously. It's kind of then give him a bit of like, we've kind of put up with him probably too long in a sense and not pushed for more change. Like, and we would have done it quicker if it wasn't for the fact of we had a bit of poor years before. And I think obviously that's tied into it. But I think now obviously we've had enough. So hopefully that gets sorted.
Do you think that the start to this season and the hanging around the playoffs and maybe a few fans dreaming about maybe we could go up here has woke a few fans up in the sense that we can achieve these things? We've got a manager here, arguably top 3 in the league, I would say. He's rinsed every last drop out of this squad. I mean, if you looked at that squad on paper before a ball was kicked, it's a mid-table squad, I would suggest, and he's had them punching well above the weight. I would suggest that if things hadn't gone off the park, they could have kept their eye on the park a little bit longer, then they might still be in that conversation going at the last couple of games here.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, as you said, Chansiri we've not paying the players. You could tell, I think, I can't remember if the next game was Hull after that, but I remember I watched it and the players they looked bothered for a time. And I think obviously they just didn't look like they were at it as much. And I get that though. Like obviously, if I didn't get paid at my job, you best believe my levels of working hard would just plummet. Like, they did all right. Like, I bless him. Barry Bannon was the only one playing 100% that whole game. I'll give him that. Like he ran 30, 40 yards at like last night, like last 80th minute or something. And I was like, my God, I love that man. Like he was literally the only one with no pay, just sprinting down that byline. I was thinking he's like 35 or 40. His hamstring were gonna go, and I was like, when you go, I'm gonna miss you.
Well, let's talk about that then, because you mentioned an overhaul in terms of the squad. I've saw tonight Dean Windass has done a kind of a video saying it'll be at the game on Saturday. He said categorically it'll be Josh Windass's farewell. Now, Josh Windass scored the goal at the weekend that he's gone level with Marcus Tudge's the highest goal scorer this century for the Owls, and done it in 30 odd games less than Tudge. So quite mercurial and quite split in terms of fan base opinion on Windass, but he's one of a few players that are going to be out of contract. Barry Bannon's obviously out of contract as well. I know he's Chansiri's rumoured to be Chansiri's favourite player, so he'll probably will get another 12 months. But just how much change do you think that squad's going to see in terms of a pre-season and then coming into next season?
Yeah, that is the worrying thing. Like, I feel like Windass, when he scored last week, giving it to the fans was not the best idea. I didn't really appreciate it. I mean, with Windass, we do need quality players, but if he's going to do that after a few months of not playing at the performance that he should be performing at, I mean, I kind of think, yeah, you can go. But then at the same time, yeah, as you said, we haven't got really any replacements. Same with Barry Bannon. If Barry Bannon says the end of the season, because he's picking up a few injuries recently as well. Like, if he decides, I'm going to have to hang up my boots, which would be fair enough to him, we'd struggle. Like, I don't think we could bring anyone of their quality in with the finances we've got at the moment. I think we'd be very lucky to do that. So yeah, I feel like it's going to be a massive rebuild. And obviously as well, even I think Pierce Charles' contract's out at the end of the season. Then we've got some of the youngsters. Another thing that we're great at is just giving youngsters away and they end up doing really well. Like Deli Bisharu, another one. He went on the free a few seasons ago. He's now worth like 7 million. He's playing at Lazio. Like, it's just like we just trip ourselves up at every turn.
I think that comes back to what you said there about having a structure in place and having maybe, a sporting director or, other like there that can kind of make sure these players are tied down on contracts, because Sheffield Wednesday have been quite, I don't want to say devious, that's not the right word, but guarded in terms of putting out, player deals and how long the contracts were. I know when Stuart Armstrong signed in January, there was no length of contract described on the club's official website. So they have been quite, coy in terms of releasing that kind of stuff. You mentioned Pierce Charles there. Interesting few weeks for him, actually, because he has the gaff at Stoke, and then obviously saves the penalty at the weekend. And, there seems to be a lot of potential for this young lad, especially given the fact that obviously Bino's going to be going back to his parent club in the summer. Do you see, Charles getting the number one spot ahead of next season?
Yeah, this is a difficult one. I've had a few discussions with my brother about this. Yeah, like he's very, very good. Technically, he's incredible, and his shot stopping's good. He's got all the attributes of a keeper. It's just his physical attributes, the things he can't control at the height, and he's a bit slight, and it worries me for the Championship, because you can see it in every game we play. A lot of teams kind of think, well, last few teams have played, obviously it's not started that many games, but they do seem to get the big lads on him, especially when Colin just kind of huddle around him. I suppose that's what our players kind of give him that protection, but physically he does worry me. He's very young, he's 19. Like, he's got time to develop. I think maybe we should get like a number one at a decent age who's experienced, keep an eye on him and keep him developing, because I think 19-year-old of that kind of body type at the moment, and he's got time to grow, but it'd be difficult, I think, to be fair for him as well. Obviously he's going to get confidence, like he's going to get knocked at times, but again, he did a great game last week, so I don't think
he's ahead of, is he ahead of schedule in terms of his first team exposure here? Because of obviously what's happened with Beadle, and it's Danny Rowe kind of been forced to put him in earlier than maybe planned.
I think, to be fair, yeah, and I think the reason for that as well is the fact that I think Charles plays the way that Danny Rowe would want a keeper to play. From what I understand, they're able to distribute it and just give it them nice little crisp passes, and I do like it as well. It's good to have that. And I think Beadle's mistakes also played a part with that. I do feel a bit sorry for Beadle. Like, I didn't really love him last season. This season, obviously, he's been a bit inconsistent, but still rate the keeper. Like, still a brilliant keeper. But yeah, I feel like it's a mixture of that. Danny Roll's kind of decision making, also Beadle's kind of few errors he's made recently.
And I'm going to play a bit of devilment here. I don't know if you saw earlier on, Jamie Vardy said that he's going to be leaving Leicester. This is going to be his final season there. I've seen a lot of that from Sheffield Wednesday fans on X this afternoon. Is there any chance at all that he could return to Hillsborough?
No, probably not. I mean, I love it. I can't lie. I mean, I had that dream. I remember when we first stayed in the division, and there was obviously Leicester came down. There was season before, so we were up to the division, and Leicester was like down in the Championship. I did almost dream that he'd like think, yeah, I'll just go over to the Wednesday boys, but he scored against the Hillsborough. He started celebrating. I thought, no, he don't love us anymore. We've lost him forever. So yeah, I love it, but I don't think so.
There'll be a queue of suitors for him, won't there? I don't even just imagine in England. I imagine MLS will probably be looking at him as well.
Oh, definitely.
Big name. So yeah, it'd be nice if we saw him back in Sheffield, because he's quite the character. You need a striker as well, I'd imagine. But we'll watch that one. Let's just move slightly away from Wednesday for a moment, because I know you live in Leeds and you share a house with a couple of Leeds fans as well. So you've probably had enough of promotion talk for the last couple of days, but it'd be remiss if we didn't get your take on it. Obviously, Leeds and Burnley are promoted. Is that kind of a fair estimate? Do you think they've been the two best teams in the division this season?
Yeah, I think overall, Burnley, obviously, defensively, we all know have been amazing. Like, I think, and then in January, they brought a few attackers in as well, which obviously gave them that extra kind of footing to go and really like go up there and get promoted. I think Leeds, again, have been the best team in the division by a mile, to be honest. I think, like, obviously, they've got that kind of, they've been in the Premier League very recently. They've got a lot of money, obviously sold a lot of players, done some good business with that. But yeah, they're the only team, I think, to be honest, who will come up this year. Whoever comes up, obviously, as well as Burnley and Leeds United, I think they were the one team that probably could stay in the division if they do well in the transfer market, keep some players, make smart kind of signings. It should be good, but I don't know. Like,
you say they're obviously they're the side that you think can go up and consolidate. There's been a lot of talk today about Daniel Farke maybe not being part of those plans. If you listen to obviously paper talk, they're saying that his Premier League record, easy for me to say, is a concern for the board. Do you think that's unfair given the kind of resources he had at Norwich compared to what he'll have if with Leeds and the 49ers this summer?
Yeah, I'm very indecisive with this one, because on one hand, I don't want to sack manager who's got a team promoted. You know what I mean? They don't deserve that. Like, they deserve to have a crack at it, definitely. But I don't think he's that good. I think that squad's really, really good. You know, because obviously that one, like Rutter and Somerville, like when they had them kind of players the year before and they didn't go up. That's crazy. That team could have been like bottom mid-table Premier League. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they went down, but I think there are a few factors in that. I think they were pretty much there anyway, the Premier League kind of team. And not to take that up, I'd be worried about him going back into the Prem with them. I think that'll be the one sticking point they'll have.
Is he, in that bracket of a great Championship manager, but just falls a little bit short in the top flight?
Definitely. But the one thing I will say is I think he's quite pragmatic. I think obviously he likes to be attacking, but he's not like Bielsa or like, I'd say in a way like Danny Roll, who just kind of go, yeah, we're going to kind of steamroll and let's go. Even if when we played Leeds, I wish we just took 10 men behind the ball, but we'll just fly at them and get beat like 3-0. But like, I think with Farke, at least he's got that kind of measured approach, which could benefit Leeds in the Premier League. So I don't know, maybe he'll do well. He could do really well, to be fair, but I just think they might maybe if they want to make them extra steps, maybe, like to maybe mid-table, higher table in the Prem, like higher mid-table, then they probably will have to look elsewhere for that.
There's been, like, every man and his dog's been linked to this job in the last kind of 6 hours. Jose Mourinho's name seems to be top of the pops. I've even seen Ange Postecoglou attached to it, because they reckon he's going to leave Tottenham in the summer. Is that a job you could see a Jose Mourinho taking?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. They're a big club, innit? I mean, they've got a pull. I don't want to admit it, but yeah, they've got a pull as a club. So yeah, potentially. Yeah, honestly, I can't believe I just said that. But yeah, potentially, yeah, they could. I think they could maybe do it, but it would be. I think Mourinho. It would be a coup. It'd be such a coup if they did that. To be fair, but
without doubt, it would be the biggest move in the Premier League in the last 10 years in terms of managerial, wouldn't it? It'd be incredible. Okay, let's get put a smile on your face for the right reasons. Sheffield United, they bottled it effectively. That Friday night where they sort of blasted Frank Lampard's Coventry at the Lane. You thought there's only going to be one winner of this title, and then they go on that 3-game losing streak. I'm gonna ask this question, and I might regret asking you, but I'll try anyway. Chris Wilder seems to he's kind of his words have come back to haunt him almost, because he creates this kind of siege mentality where no one likes Sheffield United, and I think it's not there's no one likes Sheffield United, it's no one that likes Chris Wilder. He seems to be the focal point for the hatred pointed towards that club. But I think he creates that by some of his comments, throughout the season. Do you think he's got a massive job in terms of picking these players up now and changing that mentality, because they've got kind of 3 games now in these playoffs to ensure that they join Leeds and Burnley?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that question. Yeah, you know what, like, with Chris Wilder, I'm not gonna lie. I think he's a pantomime villain. Like he loves to give it when he's winning. You know what I mean? Like he's literally a villain in the pantomime. When he's winning, he's sat there like giving it all this, giving it all that, and then straight when he loses, he just capitulates, and it's beautiful to see. And that's why, in a way, when he does it, I just think in the back of my mind, yeah, I'm angry now, but I'm gonna get it back. Karma's gonna come round, because it always does. Like even if they go up to the Premier League, it'd have been the exact same thing. I reckon that have struggled. I think their fans would turn a bit on him. He'd start getting frustrated at the situation. And it turns into one of them where if you're going to give it, you've got to take it. I don't think he can take it, to be fair. But then I do sometimes think I would love a guy in a way like him at my club. Like a Chef Wednesday version of Chris Wilder, but maybe not as Chris Wilder as Chris Wilder. But, like in between, a midway between. Like
he said today he is a big boy and he can take it. Whether you believe that or not is a different story. He says he spoke to Patrick Bamford on the phone after Bamford led those chants against him in Leeds' kind of celebrations. He said he also spoke to Daniel Farke as well. Look, worst case scenario, if Sheffield United don't go up, is he at risk of kind of losing a bit of faith with the new owners? Because I think they thought they were probably going to go up this season. You could see that by maybe the January recruitment. They brought Brayton Diaz in. They spent 10 million on Tom Cannon as well. If he doesn't make it up through these playoffs, is he in danger of maybe losing his job in the summer?
Yeah, definitely. I think they'd have to look at that in the sense that obviously they put a big investment in with that. Obviously 12 million for Cannon is mental money for the Championship. I mean, he could still come good. I know he's obviously not come good so far. I think it's 1 goal, is it, since like last week, the whole time. Like, it's just, I think they took a big gamble on that, the owners. I think they thought, yeah, we're new owners. Let's show that we want to progress. And I think it's backfired a bit. And I think it will give them probably second thoughts about Wilder, which I would understand. But at the same time, I don't want to do this, but I feel like, the squad they've got, I'd say they probably are like third. I don't think he's done that much of a bad job. And I think at times he's probably done better with them than what they should have done. And I think third is probably right for them, I'd say. I wouldn't say, I think Burnley and Leeds have deserved to be the first top 2, you know what I mean? I mean, like, so it's one of them, like, I feel like you can judge him harshly, but third for that Sheffield United side, I don't think it's the worst, to be fair.
We'll finish up on the bottom, the race for the bottom. More teams been pulled in there. Probably there's about 8 teams now, right up to Preston now, I would say, we're involved, and they've got Plymouth at the weekend. Look, this is why this league is the most entertaining league in Europe, because we're 2 games away from the end of the season. We still don't know who's going where in terms of League One, and with 8 teams involved, it's just going to be a blockbuster finish down the bottom.
Yeah, I was just looking at the table there, like, it's pretty mental, to be fair. Like, I can't believe even Hull are down there. Like, they made so many good signings. Enjoy, like Geldhart, I'd have taken him all day. Like, I'd have put him up front for us, you know what I mean? Like, and just, yeah, like, it's crazy some of the established teams are down. Like, even like Preston, they're always in the Championship. Like, every season they seem to be in the Championship, but they're in real danger. Luton again, can't believe they're in the bottom 3. Derby as well. Like, I think genuinely when Derby have come to Hillsborough, when we've gone to Derby's ground, we've struggled. They've been a good team. I don't really understand why they're down there, to be fair. But obviously, I don't really watch them. a lot.
The thing is, you look at last weekend, no one's given each other an inch. Hull won, Luton won, Argyle won against Coventry as well. No one's kind of getting an advantage. If anything, it's just pulling more teams into it when we talk about the likes of kind of Preston and Oxford. So today, Preston have reduced tickets to just £5. £5 for adults to get in a detail at the weekend to try and fill that place for the visit at Plymouth, because it could be massive. Plymouth get 3 points, and the likes of Derby or Luton or Hull win as well, then Preston are right in the mix.
Yeah, definitely. I think again though, I love that idea though. To be fair, from the owner, like, yeah, get the house packed, get it rocking. Honestly, the best Hillsborough's when we play the best is when Hillsborough's rocking and we're going at teams. That's the way every club should do it. Same with like, I think all of them should do that. That's a great idea, to be honest. Fill it out, get everyone behind them, and give the best chance of survival.
100%. I would agree with you there. Look, thanks for your time tonight. You've been a superstar, as always. I'll let you get off to the gym. Look, I'm telling you now, right? That's the most people we've had watching consistently through a podcast. So you've definitely got a fan base there, or you've got another 4 phones with YouTube on.
Housewives. Come on. Throw your housewives out there. I mean, I can be there.
Listen, will you be there at the weekend? Are you going to the Pompey game?
Yeah, I am. I'm going out. I'm meeting a mate after a few lads from Sheffield after the game as well. So yeah, should be a good day out. Should be a good day though.
Listen, you enjoy the game. We are back on Monday night. Tom Goff will be back with a suntan. He's shaved his beard off. He's not sent me one selfie with a beard off, so it must be an absolute state. So look forward to seeing how that looks when he comes back on Monday. If you have enjoyed the podcast, give it a wee like, give it a subscribe on YouTube, tell your mates, all that good stuff. And we'll see you again on Monday night. Thanks very much for your time.